A pleasant day, everyone, especially to Miss Basilisco. By the way, I am Girlie Navarro. Together with my fellow members, we'll be discussing Chapter 7, Sources of Short-Term Capital, Chapter 8, Corporate Tax, Chapter 9, Corporate Ban. The total business finance function is composed of three segments: the short-term financing, intermediate-term financing, and the long-term financing. Short-term financing or short-term capital is funds that are borrowed for less than a year. So meaning dili siya mula pa sa isa ka year. It is used when companies have expanded their initial capital, and it occurs when one has neglected the task of preparing a projected cash flow budget statement. This includes trade credit obtained from creditors. Next is the intermediate term financing or early stage capital, are funds to be paid back within a period of 5 years. It is used for small expansion activities, and it occurs when needs arises as need for working capital increases. This includes leasing and medium-term loans. Then long-term financing. It covers long-term projects lasting longer than 5 years. It is used for fixed assets and real estate purchases, for major expansion or acquisition of expensive equipment or expensive machinery, and franchise financing. This includes long-term loans and share capital. Proceed to the advantages of short-term credits. First is they are easier to obtain. From the credits point of view, ang long-term credits kay more risky than the short-term credits. So because of this, creditors make short-term credits easier to obtain. Same more purchases are often granted as less costly. Same reason. It's because the long-term credits is more risky than the short-term credits. So, short-term financing offers flexibility to the borrower. Example, ni borrow ka og money. After nimo isettle ang imong short-term credit account, you may elect to use other sources of credit. While sa long-term financing, wala sila ga-provide ani nga option to the borrowers. The debtor is stuck with the term of the long-term loan for a longer period. Next is the disadvantages of short-term credits. So short-term credits mature more frequently. This may place the firm in a tight position more often than necessary. When the frequency of the firm cash inflows are more than 12 months apart, the firm could be in a serious trouble meeting its short-term obligation. So, short-term credit may prove to be more costly than long-term credit when factors like risk, collateral, general economic outlook, and the size of the loan are taken into consideration. This is because the riskier the borrower is, the greater the cost of debt, since there is a higher chance that the debt is default and the lender will not be repaid in full or in part. The suppliers of short-term funds: trade creditors, commercial banks, commercial paper houses, finance companies, factors, insurance companies, and company accruals. So, trade creditors. Simply put, trade creditors are the money your business owes to other companies. Trade creditors are also commonly known as accounts payable or sometimes just creditors. Some creditors you might come across could be an invoice to your suppliers that you haven't been paid yet, or it could be any lenders you owe, including your regular bills that haven't been paid, or car agencies for leasing work vehicles, or companies you have contacted to work such as electrical maintenance. Generally, your trade creditor bills are things that do not accrue interest like a bank loan. Also, trade creditors serves as your liabilities. Therefore, you must manage these debts effectively and responsibly, as they could impact your credit file if your debts are not paid efficiently. Paying your creditors regularly and on time is not only respectful to your suppliers, but it can help you create lasting business relationships. Paying on time consistently only helps maintain trust in your company's ability to repay debts. So, the nature of trade credit. Credit extended by firm to another firm. So when the credit is extended to a final consumer, it no longer quantifies as trade credit. Consumer credit na siya. Then when extended to purchase of machinery and equipment and by the equipment sold, it no longer quantifies as trade credit. Matawag na siya nga installment credit. So, trade credit appears in the book of accounts of the creditors as account or notes receivable. So, debtor and creditors. So, the difference of this is the debtor is the party that owes the money, while the creditor is the party that loaned the money.
So hi everyone, I'm Jill Laurente. So I will tackle about the trade credits instrument, which is the open book credit, the trade acceptance, promissory note, and lastly the cost of trade credits. Open book credit is constitute the bulk of trade credit. It's a welcome source of inventory financing. So open book credit is like having spending limit for a specific purpose. It's a pre-approved amount of money that you can use and you pay it back what you actually use. And it's also providing flexibility that you can borrow and spend up to a certain limit, and you're charged based on amount you use within that limit. And also we have trade acceptance. So trade acceptance is a time draft drawn by seller upon purchase, and purchasers evidence that the goods are satisfactory. So it is like a promise to pay in the business world. It is a written agreement where a buyer commits to paying a seller a specific amount at a specific date. And also it's a formal way of saying that I'll pay you later, and it can be transferred or sold to someone else who might want the money sooner. And it is a common tool in a business transaction to ensure payment. Promissory note. So it is an unconditional promise made in writing, given to the creditors by a buyer. So it is a written promise to pay someone a certain amount of money by a specific date or when they ask for it. And also it is a formal agreement often used in loans and debts. Promissory note has two advantages, which is the time and the amount of payment are indicated, avoiding litigation over such matters. So it means it helps prevent argument or legal issues about when and how much money needs to be paid back, because everything is written down clearly in the note. And second is allow creditors immediate use fund tied up in such credit announcements. So the person who lent the money can use it again and sooner because they have a written promise that they will get their money back. And also we had the cost of trade credit. So it refers to the difference between the cash price for a product or supplies and the credit price suppliers charge to client companies that maintain credit purchase contracts. So it also refers to the expensive charge to the borrower in a credit agreement. This may include the interest, commission, taxes, fees, and any other charges issued by the lender. So here's the formula of cost of trade credit. So the annual cost of not taking discount equal discount over 1 minus discount times 360 days over the number of days credit minus discount period. So the discount is equals to 5%, and the number of days equals to 60 days, and the discount period equals to 5 days. So and also the 360 days and 1 is also given na siya. So ang discount period is the number of days during which the buyer can take advantage of a cash discount. So the numbers of days credit is the total number of days within which the buyer is expected to make payment without incurring any additional changes, and the discount is this is the discount offered by the seller for early payment. So, ingani na siya paano makuha ang annual cost. So, like I said kanina, is the discount over 1 minus the discount times 360 days over the number of days of credits minus the discount period. So, matik na ang discount is 5%. So, ingani na siya. So, the 5% over 1 minus 5% times the 360 days which the given and the 60 days which the number of days credit minus the 5 days which is the discount period. So, equals the discount the 0.5% over minus naman ang 1 to discount which the 0.5 is ang result is 0.95 na lang siya times the 360 days i-copy lang then over the 55 minus naman ang 60 days minus to 5 days which is the number of days credit minus the discount period. So, 55 days na lang siya. So, kuha na lang nato ni kanang kuha na lang nato ang annual cost which is the in equals to makuha nato ni is 34.4% which is the mo ni siya ang annual cost of not taking discount.
My name is Shamar Dinor and my topic for today is commercial bank. So, commercial banks offers services to the general public and to the companies. Commercial banks also is a source of short-term financing. So from short-term financing, from short-term sources which are for less than 1 year. So dili siya mo-exceed og 1 year. Less than 1 year ra. For example of short-term financing is Jamie took a loan of 10,000 for 6 months. So, within 6 months, ma-impas na ang kanang yung loan nga 10,000. Kaya only for 6 months naman. And dili siya mo-exceed of 1 year. So, ma-impas na ang yung loan if kanang 6 months ra. Then, also, create deposits. So, you put money into your bank account. So, examples of commercial banks are land bank, BDO, and etc. So, there are 4 distinctive components of banking system. So, first, commercial bank, then next, the development bank, then third, the saving banks, and last, the rural bank. So, commercial banks, ako naman siyang na-discuss. No? Then, so, let's move on to development bank. So, Development bank provides loan for investing in the equity or industrial and infrastructure projects. So, it also guarantees so that infrastructures projects can get private funds. So, private funding. So, for examples of mga infrastructures projects like mga constructions of roads, like for an example sa Lashon na inana, then railways, tunnels, and bridges. Muna example sa mga infrastructure projects. Then examples of development banks po kay sa akong research ako lang gawa sa jud niya kay is DBP of the Philippines or the Development Bank of the Philippines. So more lang example. Then next is the savings bank. So savings bank is a financial institution that gathers saving, paying interest or dividends to savers. So it's allow you to deposit money for safekeeping and earn interest on your balance. So for examples of savings is mga BPI, Family Savings Bank, then mga RCBC Savings Bank. So, savings banks, dili ka mag-save. May butay mong kwarta if ever na kay sobra nga money, then ganahan ka magtigom gani nga di mo siya magastos. So, then safe ra. Pwede nimo siya ay butang sa savings bank account. or savings bank. Then last is the rural bank. So rural bank, traditional banks that serves farmers, fishermen, workers, or communities away from the cities in a country. So commercial. Rural banks mo ni ang kanang banks nga naara siya sa rural nga lugar. For examples of rural banks is Peninsula Rural Bank, Card Bank Incorporation, then famous pud ni no kanang usa ni sa madali-dali Cebuana Luwilier Rural Bank. So other examples are rural banks. So if you're nagplano ka nga magbuhi kag kanang mga baboy, manok ba, kanding, pwede ra ka muhuwam og money. For example sa akong mama sa card mihiwam siya og money, then kanang para sa iyang kanang masuportahan niya sa paglagoy ang negosyo nga mamuhi og baboy. So that's all. Is the types of short-term loans. So short-term loan is a type of loan used to support a temporary personal or business capital need. So nasa'y two types, which is the unsecured loan and the secured loan. So unsecured loan, also called a clean loan, and does not require collateral. So when we say clean loan is a type of loan, does not have any conditions attached to it, such as the borrowers having to provide collateral. So, if magkuan kag clean loan, no, clean loan is dili na nimo kailangan nga mag-sacrifice ka sa asset nimo para lang makakuan kag loan. So, clean loan raman siya, so dili ra nimo kailangan pag mga chichiburiche para lang makakuan ka na nga loan. So, kanang no collateral required, no mo na to, dili na kailangan mag-pledge kag any assets no para lang makabaro ka og money. So examples of kanang mga unsecured loans is the credit card, personal loan, and student loans. So now next is the secured loan. So secured loan is mag-require na siya kay kung ang unsecured loan is kanang na siya kanang dili na siya kailangan og collateral. So kung ari sa secured na siya collateral backup, mag-provide na siya, mag-require na siya collateral backup. So for examples aning mga secured loans is kanang mga auto loans, business loans, installment loans. So examples, if kanang magkuha kag motor kay marag sa installment loans sa ni siya motor or balay nana, kung dili nimo mabayaran imong kanang, if ever nga di ka kabayad sa motor, di ka kadata na buwan mo nang datahan, if ever di ka makadataan ng mga pila ka months, na adyo na siya tendency na bawion jud na sa mga sakuan sa kung diin ka ni kuha sa imong motor, kay mo man na ang murag imuhang collateral ang motor. Then next is kanang muutang kag money. Then, dako na money, dako nga money, para ma-secure na nimo imong loan, kailangan jud nimo provide og, kung ano kag assets na pwede nimo i-sacrifice, para kung if ever man, di nimo mabayaran ang imong loan, ang imong utang, or ang kuanon ana, ang imuhang gi collateral, if ever imo nag-utang kog loan, na 5, nag-utang kog loan, then, akong gi collateral is akong balay. So, if ever di ko makabayad sa loan, ang automatic, ang alang kwaon is akong balay. So, muna ang secured loans. So, na siya pros and cons, no, ang secured loans. So, ang pros po niya is, lower raya ang interest rate. And, by the way, sa unsecured loan is higher po ang ilang interest rate. Then, sa secured is lower than. So, next sa pros sa unsecured loans, no, is higher borrowing limit. So, kanang higher ilang borrowing limit, so pwede ka maka-utang dagko pod na kanang mga money. So, next, sa cons, kes borrower risk. So, risky pod siya, no, kaning secured loans. Kaya if ever man dili ka responsible enough na mabayad ana, no, like, makuha dyan na nimo, makuha ang kanang, mabawi nila ang imuhang kanang balay, if ever, collateral na imong balay. So, kanang kung ikaw mo kuan yung secured loans, no, dapat responsible enough sa ka nga
mobayad, no, mo pay para dili ra ka mabawian sa imong collateral. Then also, purposes sa secured loans is the account receivable financing and inventory financing. The commercial paper houses. So, commercial paper houses, firms that buy commercial papers, includes banks and other financial institutions, selling insurance, educational, pension, and mortuary plans. So, firms that buy commercial papers are the mutual funds, banks, insurance companies, and pension funds. So, kanang commercial paper is short-term promissory notes and issued by finance companies that borrow funds. So, promissory notes is kuan magamit ni siya if, for example, nako iniutang ko sa akong amiga, og money, then ni-promise ko niya nga kaning utang nga mabayaran ko na within next month. So next month. So kailangan maghimo ko promissory note no nga magpamatuod jud na kanang ni-promise jud ko nga kana siya nga utang ako nang bayaran next month. So maghimo ko promissory note para if ever nga dili gid na ako mabayaran, so murag naagali ka ng consequence. Kay nagkuhan ko promissory notes.
Hi everyone, I'm Angel Pitogo. So for this video, I will tackle about finance companies, the part of chapter 7. So, finance companies are those which are engaged in making short and intermediate term installment loans to consumers of factors or finance business receivables and finance the sale of business and farm equipment. Finance companies have three major types, which are the self-finance companies, business or commercial finance companies, and personal finance companies. First, we will talk about the first type of finance companies, which is the self-finance companies. So, self-finance companies are firms specializing in the purchase from retailers of the installment receivables arising out of retail sales of automobiles, household appliances, and industrial equipment, farm equipment, and other durable goods sold on the installment payment plan. So, the example of self-finance companies are the investment banks, investment companies, investment that are related in self-finance companies. So, self-finance companies is also a firm that provide a short-term capital to retailers and sometimes to wholesalers by purchasing the installment sales contract that they have accepted from customers. So, if if you wonder it have a short term, so Girlie will be the one will discuss what is the short term, medium term, and long term. So let's go to the second major types, which is the business or commercial finance companies. So, business or commercial finance companies, it is lent directly to a wide variety of businesses, mainly of small and medium size. Short-term loans are granted by this type of finance companies against the security of assigned accounts, receivables, inventory, and equipment. So, when using accounts receivables as collateral, the loan arrangement may be considered under any of the following, which are the non-notification plan and notification plan. So, under non-notification plan, the debtors of the borrowing firm are not aware that their accounts have been pledged as collateral for a loan from a finance company. If when the debtors are informed, the plan is of the notification type. So if non-notification is just like a Facebook, if you didn't turn on your notification, you can't update what is going on or happened for today's news like that. If you on the notification type, you will always be updated. For the third types of finance companies, which is the personal finance companies, is a vital part of not only managing your day-to-day financial needs but also planning your financial future. Lovers the concepts of managing your money, saving and investing. So, example is the city financial goals, investing and saving. So, like like what Ma'am Chen said, um, she loves to invest his his own money than saving. So it's a good example to how to save your money and to have your own money for your future. It's part of personal finance companies. Also, finance companies specialize financial institution that supplies credit for the purchase, which is the pagpalit sa mga butang, by purchasing a consumer into goods and services, and also by purchasing the time sales contracts, pinaagi pagpalit sa kontrata sa pagbaligya sa oras sa mga negosyante o by granting small loans directly to consumers.
Next is the company accruals. So what is company accruals? It is a record of revenue or expenses that have been earned or incurred but have not yet been recorded in the company's financial statement. This can include things like unpaid invoices for services provided or expenses that have been incurred but not yet been paid. Example ani is ang accrued payroll or payroll accrual. The accumulated amount of salaries, wages, and other compensation your employees have earned during a pay period but which still need to be paid out to them. So it has two major forms. First is the accrued wages and salaries. Second is the accrued taxes. So, accrued wages and salaries, this refers to the amount of liability remaining at the end of reporting period for salaries that have been earned by employees. So, accrued taxes, it refers to taxes assessed against the company that have not been paid, whether those taxes are on the company's earned revenue or on the value of any property the company owns. Other form of accrued taxes includes interest payments on loans, warranties, on products or services received, and expenses, all of which have been incurred or obtained but for which no invoices have been received nor payment made.